So Aquaman, Thanos, and Poe walk into a bar.
Hey YouTube, welcome back to WeSibs, West Coast, East Coast Siblings, where we cover your favorite movies and TV shows. And tonight we are covering Dune, the big Warner Brothers movie that has just come out, starring Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya. I wish I could pronounce his last name. I'm so sorry, Timothy. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Like this video if you like this video. Comment, subscribe, and click the bell so you can be notified of when we review other movies and TV shows. So I'm gonna give you a general review, and then we'll get into some specific things and some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, you can watch this up to a point, and then I'll let you know when I'm about to spoil it all for you. First off, it was beautiful. Oh my goodness. It was just visually pleasing to watch. Just the sand and the scope. I mean, it was great. Also, Timothy does look very like cinematic in this movie, which is pretty cool. He's the hero of the story, but you just get some really intense bad guy vibes or like evil anti-hero vibes from him. Definitely getting like Anakin Skywalker-iness. I've never read the book, so I didn't know what I was getting in for, but I was pleasantly surprised. It's quite obvious that Hans Zimmer was behind the music because it was so loud. Oh my gosh. It reminded me of Man of Steel. It reminded me of freaking Inception. Did he even do Inception? It reminded me of pretty much every Chris Nolan movie that I can think of, even though Man of Steel was not a Chris Nolan movie. Anyway, it reminded me a lot of, I got Chris Nolan vibes, Ridley Scott vibes, some classic sci-fi, Space Odyssey. It's definitely got some Star Wars vibes, Phantom Menace. Just, yeah, some Lawrence of Arabia even, obviously because of the sand. It gave off a lot of big, epic, multi-political, star enterprises stuff. Everyone loves it, or at least I do, love a big saga story. Yeah, so I thought it was great. I was really distracted because obviously this film is star-studded. We've got a good percentage of the Marvel universe and about another half of the DC universe. We've got some other Mission Impossible. We just got all kinds of stuff going on in there, which was good. It was just a little distracting. Let me tell you, Zendaya's performance in this thing, phenomenal. She only had 4 lines, but it doesn't matter because she delivered the heck out of them. This is just someone who's never read the books, but to me, I was entertained. I could follow the storyline for the most part. I did get a little lost in the weeds with all of the political stuff going on. It also gave me Game of Thrones vibes. So I definitely got a little confused in some of those things just because I didn't know all of the players, but I'm sure watching it again, I would get more out of it. But round 1, I really liked it. Good action. Like I said, just really big, just like a very big epic movie. They actually didn't spend that much on it. They only spent $165 million, which is like not a lot compared to other movies like this, you know? Now, if you have not seen it or you don't mind it being spoiled, strap in because we're about to spoil this hoe. So first of all, the storyline basically is Timothy Chalamet. So sorry, it's so terrible. His character, Paul, is the son of a duke and his concubine. The duke, Oscar Isaac, Paul's father, Leto, is gifted with this planet. Definitely gonna mispronounce all the names. And this planet has this spice. And the spice is this like magical stuff that they use pretty much for space travel. So space travel can't happen unless the spice is harvested. The only place the spice comes from is this planet Atros that now Leto is in control over. Now, the planet is full of people who are called the Furmans. And the spice is sacred to them. For them, it's what makes their eyes blue, I think. Don't quote me on that. Rebecca Ferguson plays Jessica, his mother, and she's like this super powerful witch, soothsayer, seer woman, and he inherits her powers. In the story, at some point, we find out that Jessica's people, the other witches, have been looking forward to and merging bloodlines to create the One, and the One will be able to bridge space and time and lead them into a better future. She believes that her son is the One, and for all intents and purposes, it seems like everyone believes that. So when Leto and Jessica and Paul move to Atros, I'm so sorry, the new planet that Leto has been gifted by the Emperor, all of the people are like, oh, it's him. They think he is the One. What happens is the Emperor who's in charge, played by Stellan Skarsgård, and at some point in the movie, big spoiler alert, he betrays Leto and clan. The Empire comes down on their new planet and wreck shop, kills Leto. Now Paul is the new lord of the land. But throughout the movie, Paul has been having these visions of a girl. She's clearly one of the Furmen because she has blue eyes. It's Zendaya. And we're not really sure what these visions are or how they connect or anything like that. And eventually, he and his mother are on the run after the Emperor sends the Skalakalakara after them. They're pretty much exiled, and they meet the head of the Furman. So Stilgar is the name of Javier Bardem's character, and he's the head of the Sand People. Zendaya is one of the Sand People, so when Paul and Jessica finally encounter the Furman, he finally sees her, the woman of his dreams or his visions. She has no idea that he's been having visions of her. In one of his visions, someone gives him a sword, and the whispering voices tell him that the person who gifts him with the blade is a friend, and he needs to follow that friend. And the person who gives him the blade is Zendaya's character, Chani. Now he's like, oh, okay, so I can trust you. You must be an ally. He was like, my father wanted this planet for the desert power, And now I guess that's what Paul's gonna do, allying with the Furman, learning the ways of the desert, falling in love with Zendaya. Now he has some visions throughout this movie of him ruling the entire empire alongside Zendaya, and he seems to be either the cause of or fighting in this big war between what I understand to be the Furman people and everyone else, and he's fighting with the Furmans. Paul suggests at one point in hiding that he make a play for the emperorship, becoming the emperor, because the emperor has sided with some other people who are the bad guys. I also would like to point out that his mother seems very suspicious of him. At the beginning, she's all gung-ho for his innocence, but when he starts to come into who he could be, they have a fight and he uses the voice perfectly and commands her and she obeys him. She starts to be a little leery of him, like she doesn't trust him or she doesn't trust something about him. Also, too, the Furmen recognize him. They sort of like know him even though he doesn't know them. Also, throughout the movie, there are whispers that he belongs with them. Someone asks him how he knows to put on his suit so well, and he's like, oh, it just seemed natural. Almost like he's been reincarnated or something as a Furman person. Let me tell you something, you guys. There were just so many players in the movie that I lost track of them. I could generally understand them, but I cannot pronounce them for you. They had some great actors in here, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't feel like they used them all. They pretty much all die in this first movie. The only people in the main cast that are left are Jessica, Rebecca Ferguson, Paul, obviously, and Zendaya, and Javier Bardem. But Jason Momoa, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, he's in there. Yeah, they all die, and it makes sense because, they've got a whole Marvel universe to save. They don't got time for this. They got multiverses fitting to happen, you know what I'm saying? That also makes sense why Zendaya was only in about like 30 seconds of the movie total, because, she was over with Spider-Man dealing with some other problems in another universe. Another thing that's a part of this movie is the voice. Now, the voice seems to be this sort of hypnotic power that Jessica and her witchy sisters wield, and she seems to have passed that voice power down to Paul. But Paul, he hasn't mastered it like she has. But like with Anakin Skywalker, it's almost like he has a natural affinity for it and knows how to use it, can't control it. Okay, you guys, so I think I've covered all of the major plot points in this thing. It is an origin story, but it's also an introduction to the world. So there's a lot going on to sort of get you settled in. At the beginning, it says Dune Part 1, so we know there's at least going to be a Part 2. And in this trilogy world, more than likely a Part 3. Heck, maybe even a Part 5, because everybody loves a saga now. Hashtag Marvel. I think it's cool that we're being introduced to the world. There was just so much information. Take it from me, you will need to watch it a second time. I'm surprised that I haven't read the book, because it's definitely my genre, but I heard that the book isn't written that well. But I don't know, maybe I'll read it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I thought the acting was good. Everyone was very dry, but engaging. It seems like a very morbid world. There's lots of blacks and grays, and Timothy didn't get in the way of himself. I think he did a good job. I think everyone played their parts well. Obviously, like half of them are Oscar nominated, so yeah. So I think it was a good story. It's hard to kind of relate to Paul. He just seems like a brooding, confused teenager. Wow, I sounded so old. It's really sad that so many of the main cast died, but also this is sci-fi, so they could come back, so who knows. Yeah, I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. 10 being like the best movie I've ever seen. It's gorgeous to watch. And I was like, who the heck directed this? Hans Nolan Scott? I mean, there were just so many iconic things of a bunch of different iconic directors or iconic movies. I feel like there was a lot of fan service to it, even though I didn't read the book, so I didn't completely understand. There's a lot of fan service to the genre of sci-fi, futuristic, dystopian storytelling, movies specifically. So that was cool. Yeah, you guys, I think that's everything that I have. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please don't berate me. I don't know much about the book, but I am interested. Maybe I will read it. If you've read the book, let me know all of your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I know I owe you a U video later today, so I will get that out to you. Anyway, like this video if you like this video, comment, subscribe, and click the bell so you can be notified of when we review other movies and TV shows. And I will see you later. Bye!